Lyn Allison from the Australian Democrats.
Thanks very much for the introduction. I have been around for a while, 2 terms, and I'm hoping to do another term with your support. I've had a great interest in disability services since '96, in fact probably before that. In that year, I was contacted by a father who said, I want you to come and see the conditions in which my daughter currently lives, and she was in a nursing home in Kew. And she'd been a freak accident, been knocked over by a truck and had brain injury. And ever since that time, I've been a strong campaigner on getting young people out of nursing homes. And as I was told by the ALP on one occasion, there she goes again. Every time there was a forum, I would stand up and talk about young people in nursing homes. We've made some progress there, and I'm pleased to have been part of the campaign that's done that. Of course, it's only a tiny baby step towards getting it right, but at least both levels of government have accepted that it's inhumane for young people to be accommodated in places where the very frail aged are being housed. They don't get the adequate services, and they're certainly not in an appropriate setting socially or in any other way. I initiated and chaired a mental health inquiry which reported in February last year, and quite a component of young people, particularly with intellectual disabilities, was part of that inquiry. And I mention it because I'm not here going to say to you the Democrats will likely be in government after the next election, but to say that these are the sorts of things which minor parties can do and which the Democrats have done for a very long time, and that is push major parties into action, keep reminding them, keep nudging them, keep raising the issues, forcing them to face the facts. So the inquiry into the CSDA is an example of that. It gives you a voice because we initiate an inquiry, you're able to make submissions, come along to the Senate, say your piece. It's open, it's transparent, and everyone else can be a player, which is not something you can say for the CSDA. I'm also very interested in learning disabilities. I have a grandson who has a learning disability, and I've been frustrated, like so many parents are, with the lack of both expertise within schools for dealing with this and lack of availability of, for instance, therapies and the like, speech therapies and a whole range of services that these children really need, and they need them in kindergarten. They don't need to wait until they're in year 7 to start doing it. There is an urgent need for us to understand learning disability much more and to do something about it. I've got a platform here that we've released on both carers and disabilities, and I'll just run through a couple of those. I'll really just do headings. I think there needs to be a national disability strategy. The Commonwealth State Disability Agreement has failed us, and like so many other Commonwealth State agreements, all we see is buck passing and cost shifting. I think it's actually time to go back to the Constitution and sort out federation to figure out just who is responsible so that we can nail them, because at the present time the 2 levels of government just say it's them, not us, and that makes it extremely difficult for us to be able to effectively campaign and get it right. Obviously, we need supported accommodation and respite and better personal attendance services, and it's great that the ALP acknowledges that there is a mechanism already there in aged care that says this number of people over 70 will likely have a need for residential aged care. We know that too about disabilities. We know roughly how many there are in the population, and there should be a fund which is ongoing, which sets out the services and accommodation people need. So I think it's, we've reached a milestone to some extent in acknowledging that this is a need out there, that it isn't reasonable for parents to go on caring for disabled children until they are themselves old, that people need supports, and they also need respite, and they also need proper accommodation when a child is an adult. We need to strengthen and reframe the CSDA, and we need to take a human rights approach to it. It needs to be transparent. Obviously, it needs increased funding, substantially increased funding, and equitable indexation. So 1.8% is not equitable, doesn't relate to anything really, and we need to be serious about what level of spending needs to be provided. We do need a national equipment strategy, and I would include in that the mention that was made before of vehicles. It must be difficult, I think, especially as children grow older, to get them into the vehicle. And you would need a bigger vehicle than most, I would think. We really want to see a national no-fault insurance scheme like the TAC for those kids who are brain injured. There's a tragic outcome of incidents, and we see it all the time. And it's appalling that you're okay if you've been damaged in an accident, a car accident, but if the accident results in brain injury and is not from that cause, then you are left struggling trying to get services. Regular health checks. This was something that came up out of the mental health inquiry as well, that people with disabilities, often their illnesses go undetected and mental illness does as well, and that there is very little by way of expertise in GPs in dealing with people with intellectual disability because it's so difficult for the person concerned to express what's going on. We need much more awareness about, with GPs and with other health professionals in dealing with people with disabilities. And we need a community awareness strategy. We got somewhere with access into mainstream schools for children with disabilities a few years ago, but I'm hearing, and you may correct me, but I'm hearing that we're going backwards, and they find that in the workplace these needs are not accommodated, and there is no government incentive that's effective enough to see that not just young people but people across the board with disabilities are pulled out of poverty and allowed to work to their capacity. So thank you.